So what's the one thing that truly separates consistently profitable traders from, well, everyone else? Here's a hint. It's not some secret indicator or a genius strategy. It's discipline. But I'm not talking about a personality trait you're born with. No. Think of it as a learnable system, an edge that you can build, starting right now.
Hey, does this sound familiar to you? You have a great day, maybe even a fantastic week. Your strategy is just clicking, you're seeing the moves before they happen, and that account balance is climbing higher and higher. And then, boof, in just a few impulsive emotional trades, you give it all back. It leaves you just spinning your wheels, right? It's this incredibly frustrating cycle, and it comes directly from a breakdown in discipline.
So what is trading discipline, really? Well, you can think of it as the unshakable ability to execute your plan like a machine. It's that mental strength to stick to your rules when fear is screaming at you to sell, or greed is telling you to chase a market that's taking off. It's not about being emotionless. It's about making sure your emotions aren't hijacking your decisions. Honestly, this is the very bedrock of success.
Let this number sink in for a second. Somewhere between 70 and 80% of retail traders lose money. Now, the profitable minority, they aren't necessarily smarter or using some secret strategy. The key thing that separates them is their unwavering, totally non-negotiable discipline. Okay, so how do we build this discipline? It all starts with an external framework. The first part of our system is creating a blueprint, a solid set of rules that you just don't break.
And this blueprint, it really stands on two foundational pillars. First, you need a concrete written down trading plan. And second, you have to have an almost obsessive focus on managing your risk. Without these two things, any attempt at discipline is just built on sand. And your plan can't be vague. It needs to be crystal clear. I'm talking about your entry signals, your exit points, your position sizing, everything. Your rules should be so clear that you could hand them to someone else and they could execute your trades for you. Why? Because in the heat of the moment, when the market is flying, you don't want your emotional chimp brain making the calls. You just want to execute, not hesitate or second guess.
This right here, this is the single most important rule of your entire blueprint. You have to burn this into your brain because it's your survival code. Never ever risk more than 1 to 2% of your trading capital on any single trade. You know, professionals prioritize protecting their capital way more than chasing profits. This one rule keeps you in the game long enough to actually win.
Let's look at the difference in action. The disciplined trader, they wait patiently for their setup to come to them. They follow their plan, they respect their stop loss. The emotional trader, on the other hand, is driven by impulse, chasing trades out of FOMO, revenge trading after a loss, holding onto a loser, hoping it'll turn around. One of these builds a career, the other blows up accounts. It's that simple.
Okay, so having the rules is one thing, but actually following them, that's a whole different ballgame. This brings us to the real battlefield, where discipline is won or lost, the inner game of your mind.
This quote from the trading psychologist Mark Douglas, it gets to the absolute core of the professional mindset. It says, they believe they don't have to know what happens next to make money. What does that mean? It means accepting that the outcome of any one trade is basically random. True confidence doesn't come from being able to predict the future. It comes from knowing you have a statistical edge that's going to play out over a whole series of trades, but only if you execute flawlessly every time.
And these guys right here, these are the enemies of that process. You've got FOMO, making you jump into a trade that's already left the station. Revenge trading, where you try to get even with the market. Overconfidence after a big win, which always leads to taking bigger, dumber risks. And that scarcity thinking, which makes you grab tiny little profits because you're scared they'll vanish. Just recognizing these is the first huge step.
So this leads to the million-dollar question, right? How do you actually manage these powerful feelings when they pop up in the moment? The answer isn't to just shove them down or ignore them. It's to have a strategy ready to navigate them.
Okay, here are 3 really powerful techniques. First, when you feel that urge, that FOMO, that anger, just name it. Literally say to yourself, I feel the urge to chase this, but don't act on it. Just acknowledging the feeling takes away so much of its power. Second, constantly remind yourself, one trade means nothing. It's just one data point. And third, mentally rehearse. Before the market even opens, visualize a losing trade and see yourself calmly closing the position and moving on. You're literally training your brain how to respond correctly.
All right, now let's get tactical. Because discipline isn't built on some grand gesture. It is forged in the fire of small, consistent, daily habits. It's exactly like building a muscle. It requires reps day in and day out.
So these are your daily reps. First, journal every single trade. And I don't just mean the numbers. Write down your emotional state too. This builds self-awareness. Second, practice that visualization we just talked about. Make it a habit. And third, and this might be the most powerful habit of them all, build the discipline muscle in areas of your life completely outside of trading.
I know it sounds almost too simple, but when your alarm goes off, get up. Don't hit the snooze button. That tiny little act of doing what you said you would do, even when it's uncomfortable, builds integrity with yourself.
It's the exact same thing with physical exercise. When you consistently stick to a workout plan, especially on those days you really don't feel like it, that directly translates into the mental toughness you need to stick to your trading plan. You are proving to yourself over and over that you can follow through.
You know, ultimately, this all comes down to one thing: self-trust. It's about making your word meaningful to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, whether it's in life or in trading, you do it. This builds the self-trust that is absolutely essential for a disciplined trader. Your brain starts to actually believe you when you set a rule. This all starts with a conscious shift in your identity. You don't say, I'm going to try to be disciplined. No, you decide right now, I am a disciplined trader. And from that moment on, you just spend every day proving it to yourself with your actions. Waking up on time, journaling your trades, sticking to your risk limits. Your actions will reinforce your new identity. So let's connect all these pieces. This isn't just a random collection of tips. This is a unified system for building your real, sustainable edge in the markets.
Your discipline edge is a system with 3 parts that all lock together. You have your blueprint. Those are the clear, external rules. You master your mind. That's the internal, psychological game. And you reinforce it all with your habits, the small, daily reps that build your identity. This is how you transform from an amateur speculator into a professional operator.
So I'll leave you with this question. Whether you're just starting out or you've been at this for years, what is the single most effective habit you use to maintain your discipline? Share it in the comments below. Let's learn from each other.